Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to talk about, I think it's propaganda that the mainstream media is spreading. They came out with some polling numbers in Iowa, which I do not believe. And also, I saw a poll with Texas. These states always are red. It's been some times that never Texas, but Iowa, I guess maybe 30 years ago, it ended up being blue, but typically it's a red state. But they're saying Kamala Harris is leading in these polls. Okay. So I don't understand how they could be, she could be leading in the state. And then she has a horrible approval rating. Okay, so we're going to discuss that. We're talking about nothing but the election, everything about the election on today's episode of Business Talk. So you guys stay tuned. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Miss Celeste Hodges in the building. Hello from Texas. So ready for tomorrow. Dems already caught cheating. Yeah, that's another thing we're going to talk about. And something to see in there is trying to say, oh, Trump lied about, but he didn't lie. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Justin Thompson is in the building. What is good with you? Noble Young, it's always great to see you. Keratin is in the building. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Larry is in the building. Tyrone is saying Chawanne Burns greetings. Hopefully the Democrats will not steal the election from the former President Trump. I agree. Larry is also saying happy garbage day from Fort Worth. Joe, hello from the PA. It's always great to see other people in the building. Raging Cajun from Louisiana. Okay. It's always great to see you. Tyrone is tuning in from South Carolina. And Joseph Young Jr. Hello, Chawanne, my Detroit queen. The Detroit Lions victorious yesterday. They're going to the Super Bowl. 2 predictions. Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl and Donald Trump will be the president, the 47th president of the United States. How? Go MAGA full MAGA pride. Okay. I think it's going to be a red wave despite of what the mainstream media is telling us. Okay. I am Bush watcher, LOL. Okay. Raduku, thank you for the super chat. The selfish desire to maintain peace causes war. Hate is born to protect love. Okay, thank you for the super chat. Okay, just without further ado, we're going to get into what we're talking about today. Remember, I said I believe the mainstream media is panicking, so they're conjuring up the stories. They're pulling out their, polls that really don't have the accuracy of legitimate polls. So they're saying they're pulling out that outlier poll that is leaning in Kamala Harris' direction. And I believe the reason why they're doing this is to give Kamala Harris supporters like the momentum and the motivation to get out there to vote. We could clearly say that Kamala Harris supporters or Democrats are really not enthusiastic about this election. Okay, so reason why I'm saying this is because I came across this individual today on X, and he is saying, let me just share this with you. Okay, he is saying that the Pennsylvania Democrats' early vote firewall has collapsed. Okay, they're saying they're missing, well, not even missing. They had a goal of 750,000 votes that they wanted to achieve, registered or early but ballot. And those Democrats have not reached that number. And I believe they need that 750,000 votes to kind of win the election. Okay, so this is what he's saying in this. Oh, my bad. You guys let me know if you could hear this.
Right now, the Pennsylvania Democrats' firewall has collapsed. Firewall is the number of early mail-in ballot lead that they have. Remember, in 2020, it was 1.1 million. When Fetterman beat Oz, it was 800,000. Right now, they got a 409,000 vote lead. They needed 750. That was their goal. Then they said they got to have at least 500. They're not going to meet that. Yesterday, their numbers collapsed. It stopped coming in. So instead of getting 750 or 500, which now they're saying they absolutely need to get to a 500,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania with mail-in ballots in order to even be competitive here, they're not going to reach that, folks. They are 409 right now. They are, get this, 700,000 mail-in early votes behind where they were same time 2020. They're 350,000 behind where Fetterman was over Oz in just 2022. That was only 2 years ago. This is turning into a disaster for the Democrats. Trump well on his way to winning Pennsylvania now with these numbers. That's why he's coming to Pittsburgh tonight, where we are. Now, North Carolina poll out just a few hours ago. East Carolina University trends more of a liberal poll. They've got Trump up over 50% now. In North Carolina, 50 to 48. Let me give you even bigger news in North Carolina. Early voting. Republicans are actually winning now. They're ahead in early voting in North Carolina. That's never happened in the history of early voting in North Carolina. Republicans are ahead. African American turnout in Charlotte and Raleigh and some of their key areas is way down. Same thing in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. It's way down. They're not getting the black community out. And we got polls saying up to 25 or 30% of those are going to vote for Trump. This is turning into a rout.
And so, yeah, I could truly say that this election, it will be a landslide, because I don't think Democrats are that enthusiastic about Trump. Okay, you don't like Trump, so they're not going to vote for Trump, but they're not really keen on voting for Kamala. And I think that's why they're seeing the turnout being very low. Last year, I'm sorry, in 2020, we saw that Biden won Pennsylvania. Biden won Pennsylvania just by, I think it was like 75,000 votes. Okay, so they're not seeing those numbers. They're saying, okay, those mail-in ballots that they saw in 2020, those are missing. Those are not, they're no longer, or that lead, they do not have that lead like they do or like they did in 2020. So I could say that it looks like that Pennsylvania will be a Trump, a MAGA, a red state. Okay, I could say it looks like Donald Trump will win Pennsylvania. Okay, this is what CNN had to say, and they're really nervous about Pennsylvania, because remember, if you guys go back to my last stream, probably about in August, if you look at history, the data across elections, if a candidate did not win Pennsylvania, it's pretty hard to actually win the election. Okay, so I believe that they're really nervous about this Pennsylvania state. Let me see if I could. I thought I had this pulled up. Let me see. So, and this is what's the guy's name who's always crying? You guys let me know. What's his name? forget what the guy's name is. I can't think of his name. I think this is it, maybe. I don't know if this is it. I'm sorry. I thought I had it saved on my drive. But
You're yet to.
Van Jones. Van Jones was like literally crying about the polling numbers in Pennsylvania. He was crying because, and not crying like he normally does, but he was basically saying they're losing, and it's kind of like almost a defeat is setting in early before they started counting the votes. This was, I believe, yesterday. Okay, this is it. No, this is 7 years ago. Anyway, let me just play this one. I didn't want to play the election fraud yet because they are talking about election fraud. What's so sad about the election fraud? CNN is trying to say Trump is lying about the election fraud. Matter of fact, we could just play it since it's right here. So they have this
Then
analyst,
they go and they say, well,
Daniel Dale. He corrects Donald Trump on his statement. He had a rally yesterday, and he claimed that there were 22 or 2,600 ballots that were counted and signed with the same signature and everything in North Carolina. And so he had, Pennsylvania, I think it was Scranton, Pennsylvania, or somewhere like that. But in Pennsylvania, they found it was 2,200 ballots that were signed and with the same penmanship. And he didn't mean to say ballots. He meant to say registration, voter registration, okay? This is what Trump said, and the analyst is going to talk about it.
well, this is a conspiracy theorist. We have to solve this problem because we have a mess.
My bad. You guys can't see it.
In part by spreading false claims of cheating. Listen to what he said at his rally in Pennsylvania just yesterday.
In Lancaster, they found 2,600 ballots, all done by the same hand. In other words, the same exact penmanship, the same hand, the same everything. It was all done by the same pen, the exact same pen. And then they go and they say, well, this is a conspiracy theorist. We have to solve this problem because we have a mess on our hands. We got a bunch of cheaters that all they do is think about how they can cheat. When they meet to find out how can they cheat.
Okay, CNN's Daniel Dale is joining me now this morning for a very badly needed fact check. Go.
It's lie after lie to lay the groundwork to potentially challenge the legitimacy of another Trump defeat. We've heard him talk about massive numbers of non-citizens voting, just does not happen. Massive fraud with mail-in voting, no evidence of that either. Yesterday, we had the claim that a bad poll for him was a malicious, deliberately rigged suppression poll meant to depress his supporters. No basis for that. And then we had this nonsense about his opponent.
This is why I don't like CNN. Trump is not lying. He just said ballot versus registration, but he's not lying. They did find registered, I guess you could call it registered ballot, but voter registrations, some within the same penmanship. How is that a lie? Anyway, I'll let him proceed.
opponents holding cheating meetings, just a figment of his imagination. Now, you heard him talk about a particular situation in one Pennsylvania county, and he's glommed onto this at rally after rally in the last week or so, but he's grossly distorting what happened. He's talking about 2,600 phony ballots or phony votes that were supposedly caught. That is not true. What was actually flagged were about 2,500 voter registration applications that were deemed to be suspicious. Those were set aside for further investigation. None of those people were permitted to vote, so these were not votes or ballots. Now, unfortunately, we have a misinformation spreader who owns a social media platform. That is, of course, billionaire Trump supporter Elon Musk, who amplified this false claim yesterday. He called it true. Again, it is just not true. Now, fortunately, we had an election expert jump on this quite quickly yesterday, a man named David Becker, who wrote in response to Musk's post, actually, this is 100% false. They did not find 2,600 ballots, not even close. They caught about 2,500 voter registration applications before processing them, meaning they protected election integrity. The system worked and voting is secure thanks to...
It doesn't matter. You guys let me know if somebody tried to cheat and you caught that particular them trying to cheat. How can you say, oh, you caught every single last one? That's what it doesn't register with them. Okay, we caught 2,600 ballots or 2,600 registrations. You see how I interchange ballots and registration? Yeah, it's totally different. 26 or 2,500 people tried to register to vote in their invalid registration. But we caught that. What didn't we catch? Do you understand why he's mentioning that? And everybody say, oh, this is 100% false. They could even say, no, this is not quite accurate. Actually, it wasn't ballots. It was actual voter registration. But we caught before these people were able to actually cast their vote. Okay. So these people, hopefully, we don't know, because are they able to register up to the day of in Pennsylvania? You guys put it in the chat, because I don't know. So you're able to, you caught it like last week or a couple of days ago, and now you're crucifying Trump because he mentioned it. This doesn't make any sense. So you're saying that our voter registration is secure, or our voter process is secure. If you caught 2,600, what didn't you catch? That's what my mind goes to. Okay, they caught 2,600. What didn't they catch? Okay, so I found another post on X, and this person is saying shady election group dumps. That's where it's who posted this. They said PA 2,500 ballot registrations were questioned in Lancaster, investigating hundreds of fake ballot registration, and they just voter registration, not ballot registration. But maybe they call it different in Lancaster or Pennsylvania. Maybe they do call it ballot registration. Michigan, an official with GBI, a Dem group, Brianna Hawkins, admitted to police that the group turned in hundreds of fake registration and was operating in several states and DC. And it's saying, in Ohio, Hamilton County Director of Election Sherry Poland held up a large stack of voter registration during the meeting, about an inch thick, to show how many registration one canvasser from a Black Fork Strategies turned in. All had the same handwriting. Okay. Maricopa, 90,000 registration were submitted by a third-party group on the last day of voter registration. Since 50,000 forms have been processed, the remainder 40,000 forms were unusable. This is the problem. So you have, and I do have a story about Elon Musk. Elon Musk paid people. He hired a subcontractor company, and they came out to Michigan to knock on doors and to get people registered to vote. Okay. And there's quotas that you have to meet. Maybe you get a bonus or whatever, but there's quotas. This is the quotas that the subcontracting company put on these people. Okay. So I could totally see this happening. Oh, I got to meet a quota. I don't give a damn. I'm just going to be filling out ballots so I can meet my quota so I could get money. You guys put it in the chat. Let me know if I'm going in the wrong direction. But I'm going to fill out fake ballots so I could get my money or my bonus. So I could see this happening. And does that mean your election is secure? Does that mean they're going to catch every fake ballot? I don't think so. I just don't believe that. Now, are there going to be people voting? Now, there's two parts to this. Are people going to actually use these fake voter registrations and go in to vote? We don't know. Or are they just, these third-party companies canvassing the area trying to get people to vote? That's probably one reason why you shouldn't hire people to do this canvassing unless they said, hey, I'm really passionate about the person that's running for office, because then you're going to have people doing this shady type of stuff. And then you're going to have people questioning the election. Okay, how secure our elections are. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to share with you. Now, the other, polling, they're bringing up Iowa. Now, remember, I told you Iowa is not a battleground state, and Iowa's been red. I lived in Iowa, I think I moved there, and I had to be 11 or 12 when I moved there. Iowa has always been Republican. They have Republican everything. A matter of fact, Des Moines, Iowa, I don't know if the mayor at the time was Democrat or Republican, but he was a black guy. They will elect, whatever, even though it's 1.1% black there. But it's always been Republican. Never switch sides. It's never been a question. I think years ago, maybe 40 years ago, I think Iowa was maybe turned blue one time. But this is what they're telling people. Steve Kornacki reacts to Iowa poll showing Harris with the 3-point lead over Trump. Wow. Really? Really? I think they've been kind of like they're trying to, like I said, rile up Kamala Harris supporters and she has a chance to win. No, stop it. They could have picked another state before they said Iowa. I mean, they could have said, maybe Michigan or something, and that's an actual battleground state. So now you got all these people questioning because they got this silly poll.
That striking new poll out of Iowa, Dasha mentioned it. What can you tell us about that?
Wow, this has thrown the political world for a loop because neither party has been treating Iowa as a battleground at the presidential level. Remember, Donald Trump did incredibly well here in 16 and 20, won by more than 8 points. This would be, if this actually happened, Harris ahead by 3 over Trump in Iowa. That would be an 11-point shift for Harris in Iowa. What is the climate in Iowa? One thing that might be notable here is you look at where Harris is drawing her support from in this Des Moines Register poll. Among women, 20-point advantage over Trump. This is particularly strong for her independent women and senior women. Trump obviously doing better with men. But one thing to keep in mind in Iowa, abortion has been front and center there with that new 6-week ban that went into effect this summer.
That gender gap on display yet again. Fantastic stuff. We'll talk about it throughout the show. Steve Kornacki, great stuff. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top.
Like I said, I don't believe that poll for 1 minute. Iowa's a conservative state. They do have blue pockets where Des Moines. They even put up there in Dubuque, Iowa. I don't know how Dubuque, Iowa is blue, but whatever. But I could see Fort Dodge, Iowa probably being blue. But everything else, pretty much a red country. I don't think there's, like I said, CNN and MSNBC, is putting these messages out there for people to think Kamala Harris has a chance. And I really don't think she has a chance in this particular election because her favorability is very low. She is not favored in the polls at all. Let me get to some of your shout out to Kevin Brooks. Kevin Brooks is one of those trolls. He always is in my comments. And he's actually subscribed to me. So thank you for your, helping me with the algorithm. But he doesn't never, say anything positive about any of my videos. He's always trolling. So just, this guy, Kevin Brooks, shout out to you. Thank you for the algorithm, basically. Every time you comment, I'm boosted up in the YouTube algorithm. So thank you for that. Even though you don't say anything positive about my videos. Positive, and then on top of that, sometimes you are insulting. Okay, so if you're not going to, say something, I don't mind you having your own personal opinion, but stop being insulting. Okay, and just cut it out. And why are you subscribed to me? You take all your day and time to come to my videos and insult and, say negative stuff, and you're subscribed to my channel. I mean, what kind of life do you live? That's a little bit on the ridiculous side. Anyway, Big Wave Dave is in the building. What is good? Farouk, I believe I'm pronouncing your name right. What they are doing is jacking up the polls for Kamala, so when they try to rig the count, the public wouldn't notice. I believe they're trying to do that as well. They're trying to say, oh, she was kind of up in the polls. Like, come on now. No. Lenny Malley is saying ABC is fake news, just like the polls. Yes. Big Wave, thank you for the super chat. Big Wave is saying, why is it I find all black people for Trump and silly white liberals for Kamala? I think there's actually, Dave, I really truly believe there are silly, and I wouldn't even call silly. I just think they're brainwashed black folks that vote Democratic all the time. They vote for the blue all the time. It doesn't matter what type of information you give them, because they continuously to put CNN on, and MSNBC on. They actually listen to that, and then they never do the research. They never step back and say, oh, what did CNN say? Let me check some other outlets and see if I could find the long form video, or make a impartial decision on what they're saying. Because it seems like everything all the information they're giving me about this one person is always bad. It can't be that, because half of the people voted for Donald Trump. So he can't be that bad. That's what I would think. Even with Kamala Harris, I could see why people are voting for Kamala Harris, because they want the women's rights. I could see that. Even though that wouldn't be my first thing to vote for a person. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. I could see if you voting because she's a woman. I could actually see that. I could actually own up to that and say, oh, they're voting for her because they're doing identity politics. I think it's a very wrong decision. That's how we end up with bad politicians in the seat and making wrong decisions for us. Very wrong decision, but I could see why you're making that choice. And then I could also see, why are these people telling me such bad things? If they do negative about Kamala Harris, okay, what's good about Kamala Harris? I'm not for sure, because, even on some of the debate, she did okay. She did okay on the debate. I think we had a low bar set for her. So she did okay. Better than expected. I could admit that, but I can admit, and I do realize that, okay, based off of policies and what my family looks like, I know Trump will be the better person for me. And I'm not going to say, oh, he's a racist or his rhetoric. That has nothing to do how he will run the country. Has nothing to do with it. So I'm not going to take other people's information and says, oh, I'm going to subscribe to that information. No, I'm going to do my own research and formulate my own opinion. That's called free thinking. But I notice, back to your comment, Big Wave Dave, it's not only silly white liberals. I think it's just people that's just programmed in the mind because they never turn off mainstream media. When they turn off mainstream media and start looking up information for themselves, I think that's when they'll get out of this trance. Anyway. ABC released Kamala Harris winning on Pennsylvania on Halloween. To me, that's funny. Big Wave Dave, another super chat. Thank you. Trolls are sad people. MSDNC, exactly. MSDNC. And another super chat for Big Wave Dave. Appreciate you. Vote on policy. Vote on policy and not personality. I don't like Trump's personality. Yeah, you might don't like Trump personality, but you're not going to say, oh, I'm not going to vote for this guy because I don't like his personality. You ain't trying to marry the guy. Are you trying to take Trump off on a date? No. But I know when he's negotiating with Putin and Xi Jinping, he's going to get the job done. And he's negotiating the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. He's going to get the job done. Kamala, no. Remember, Kamala said she met with Zelensky, and a day later, Putin was invading Ukraine. And then they asked her, did you speak with Putin? No. Well, how the hell are you supposed to negotiate anything if you don't speak to both parties? You got to understand, if Kamala wins, we're going to war. You might as well put that in your head. We're going to war. So look at your sons and your daughters. If they're military age, they ass might be drafted. Hell, if you're a woman, you might be drafted. If you military age, under the age, I think it's 35, right? No, if you don't have any illnesses, your ass will be drafted. So if you want a war, this is what I'm saying. I don't like Trump sometimes either. But if you don't want a war, you need to vote for the best person for that job. If you want jobs coming back to America and manufacturing jobs coming back to America, you want to vote the best person for the job. Anyway. Eve Reyes says, nah, Kevin Brooks want to be Chawanne. Yeah, he probably does. He probably want this mic. Anyway, start your own YouTube channel. We're going forward. Let's see what they're saying. I did want to talk about Kamala Harris rally. This is really insane. Okay, Kamala Harris, she's picking up all the elites and, you know, the famous people, and she's telling people, hey, you know, vote for me. I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was genuine, okay? But these are not genuine supporters. These are supporters that she's paid. They're being paid to support Kamala Harris, okay? Let me see. So Cardi B gave a talk. Cardi B gave a talk, or she came on, went to the rally, and she was supposed to speak about why she's voting for Kamala Harris, okay? This is Cardi B. I want to share this video before I share the video of her at the rally. Now, this is Cardi B. complaining about gas prices and the budget of New York City. And she says she is never going to endorse a candidate. That's what she said in this video.
Don't fucking ask me. I don't give a fuck the resume that they send. I don't give a fuck. I'm not endorsing no fucking presidents no more. Because we could fund 2 wars. We could fund 2 wars. Motherfuckers talking about we don't got it, but we got it. Like, we're the greatest nation. No, the fuck we're not. We're going through some shit right now. Like, say it. Say it. We're really going through, we really are fucked right now. And yeah, we talking about we could fund 2 wars. That's like a nigga trying to front like, yeah, I got the money to support 2 bitches, but you really don't. Y'all talk about y'all don't make negotiation with the odds, but y'all need to sit the fuck down with these people and find agreement. No, we cannot fund these fucking wars. We can't. Keep it a bean. We can't. This is fucking crazy. And then you know what? I told myself this week, like, yo, the internet right now is too dark because celebrity drama, of course, we love it. We infuse with it. We watch it. But it's like, yo, that's little of what's really going on in the world right now. That's nothing compared to what's going on in the world right now. The world is in fucking shambles.
Okay. I really agree with you, Cardi. You hear what she said at the beginning. I don't care what the people resume look like. I'm not endorsing anybody. We could fund 2 wars, but we have all these, a budget deficit and all this stuff. And you're cutting city programs like housing and education. You know, all those things that your American citizens need, but you're funding a war. Okay, this is what she said. I think this was last year or a couple of years ago. And on this live, I don't know if she said it on this one, but she talked about how the prices are too high. Okay, very valid reasonings of, why she wouldn't support one particular candidate because of where the state of the United States. Okay, I think it was a valid rant. Then she goes on Friday. She goes to Kamala Harris rally and she spoke. Now, reason why I want to bring this up is because she was not genuine. Cardi B was paid to give this speech.
1 second, guys.
This is so embarrassing. If I want to support a candidate, I'm going to go off the top of my head. Hey, you guys, this is why I'm supporting Donald Trump. I believe in economic freedom. I believe manufacturing jobs should come back to the U.S. I believe in energy independence. I believe that, hey, if you're able to fund wars, why can't we fund our veterans, our homeless veterans, our homeless people? I believe that we should not have an open border. This is what I believe in. And this is why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because I want a better future for my family and my young children. I believe they should overhaul the education system because our black children can't read. 40% of our black children only can read at grade level. We are failing our children. So yes, that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because he said he's going to overhaul the education system. He said he's going to close the borders. He said he's going to bring jobs back to America. He said he's going to save the auto industry. That's what I believe. And that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. Why can't she say this? This is what she said.
Guys, 1 second. Okay, so I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys, I'm a little nervous. Guys. I've been waiting for this moment this whole life, my whole life. I need patience over here. Patience, where are you, girl? I need patience over here.
And she was actually saying, Patience, where are you, girl? That's her assistant, okay? I left my phone. The teleprompter is not working. So I would tell the audience, well, hell, I'm just going to wing it, you guys. This is how I feel about Kamala Harris. I think the crowd would have respected her more. She probably, even the non-Kamala supporters, if they actually watched this, they probably would have been like, oh, yeah, that was some real genuine, that was real genuine of Cardi B just to speak from her mind. Why do you have to regurgitate a speech? Hey, the teleprompter is not working. Okay. You're saying you love your country and you really support Kamala Harris. You should, what you feel on the inside. Okay. This is why I'm supporting this particular person. And don't tell me they just called you up Friday night and saying, hey, are you voting for Kamala Harris? And if you said yes, then you should have known why you are voting for Kamala Harris and should be able to explain why you're voting for Kamala Harris. Cardi B just showed up for a paycheck.
Hold on. How you guys doing tonight? How you guys doing tonight? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to make history? Are we ready to change these 4 years? No. Are we ready to change the next 8 years? Because we're going to make sure we have Kamala Harris in office for 8 years. Thank you.
So, and I'm not going to share the speech because we know it's not, well, we could share it because I do have it. Evie Ray, thank you for the super chat. Evie Ray is saying they support Kamala because they 304s and side chicks. Exactly. These are all, they might as well say hoes. Remember they came out with hoes for Kamala. These are essentially hoes for Kamala. You know, this is why you have Kamala Harris paying all the elitists to, you know, come out and support her. She has to have these big name people to come out, because if she didn't, nobody would show up. Nobody would show up. I was listening to Benny Johnson over the weekend, I think Sunday, and they had Hillary Clinton, some parts of either North Carolina or Georgia, wherever it is. Hillary Clinton had this rally. It was in this hotel room, you know, one of the banquet hall rooms, and nobody was there. There was not one line. No, and this is Hillary Clinton. She ran in 2016. Hillary Clinton. That's why we could tell they're not, Democrats are not excited about this election. They're not showing up. Now, if Hillary Clinton probably would have came with some type of music, a musician to back her up, they probably would have showed out. But nobody came. It was basically an empty room. It was a basic empty room. And where the media was supposed to be, it was only 2 or 3 media outlets that were actually attending this rally. So this is why I know they're out of touch. So that's why they have to get people on stage like Cardi B on the stage. Now, this is Cardi B. Let me see if I can find it. Cardi B and Kamala. Let me just. This is her. Is this the full speech? No.
I believe in every word that comes out of her mouth. She's passionate, she's compassionate, she shows empathy, and most of all, she is not delusional. Yeah.
That's now she was in Milwaukee. Let me see.
Messages.
Her mouth. She's passionate, she's compassionate, she shows empathy, and most of all, she is not delusional. Yeah. Kamala recognized that this country is at risk, that the economy needs to get stronger, that the cost of food and the cost of living is too high. Damn, it's even high for me. I believe her when she says, under her, buying eggs and milk won't break the bank, because she's gonna pass a ban on price gouging on groceries. And she told me that in my face.
This is not the full video, but doesn't it sound kind of retarded? And that's Kamala Harris. She does want to pass a price gouging ban on groceries, but that doesn't work. We already discussed that. That's a Venezuelan tactic. That's why they have a food shortage in Venezuela, and that's why all those people are trying to get over here in Venezuela, because the government basically starved them out. Okay, that's called communism. That's basically what that is called, communism. I don't know, why did she say she's not delusional? Who says that? Kamala Harris is not delusional. Who says she's delusional? But she is delusional. Now that you use that word, now we could start using the term delusional when we think of Kamala Harris, because she is delusional. And you know, a person that's voting for Kamala Harris is kind of delusional, because they actually think she's gonna win. Kamala Harris supporters, they actually think she has a chance of winning. I reposted this on my profile, and it was, what did it say? They said the only people think that Kamala Harris has a chance to win is black folks and white liberal women. This is it. Only black people think Kamala gonna win. This shit is hilarious. And it is. Because the more black people, and I think liberal white women, they really think Kamala Harris has a chance of winning. I really do think that. I think they're like really delusional on this point. So anyway, so Cardi B, she had to pull out Cardi B, and then you had your girl J-Lo. Now, Cardi B is implicated in some of these Diddy tapes. People are now starting to associate or make the comparison or association of Diddy parties and Kamala Harris supporters. Okay? You had LeBron James came out. LeBron James is good friends with Puff Daddy. Okay? Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys ever seen LeBron James had that maid outfit on. I don't know if it was for Halloween, but what man wears a maid outfit with, short, skimpy outfit? Okay. So you have him. Then you had Cardi B. You have Beyonce. Beyonce might be implicated in association with Diddy. I know her husband is. Her husband participated in some of these parties. So you have him, and then you have J-Lo. Now, someone this is Insurrection Barbie. She puts on her stream or her feed, J-Lo spent 30 minutes crying and warning everyone about Donald Trump, but she didn't warn one single person about Diddy. Okay, got it. This right now has 44 million views. This tweet alone. You spent all this time crying. You cried for 30 minutes talking about warning us about Donald Trump. Woo, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. But when it came to Diddy, and you know how Diddy was, you didn't give nobody a warning sign, a warning signal. You didn't send out no smoke signals or anything. But you was talking about Donald Trump. Okay, crying. Look, this woman was crying profusely.
I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional. But you know what? You know what?
What?
We should be emotional. We should be upset. We should be scared and outraged. We should. Our pain matters. We matter. You matter. Your voice and your vote matters. And look, don't be afraid to make people around you uncomfortable. Invite people around you to be the change, to go out there and vote. Nobody likes having tough conversations or talking about politics, but trust me, I've been in some of these rooms. I see the way power works in this country. They love it when you do nothing.
Yeah, you didn't
Okay?
did it.
A non-vote is an agreement. It just makes it easier for them to do whatever they want, whatever serves them. And this election is about your life. It's about you. I promised myself I would.
So, that's just partial of the clip. But she's talking about this election is about your life and crying and acting like, oh, she is, for the country. But then you spent those 2 years with Diddy, and you're saying that, Donald Trump is pose a more threat than the guy you spent 2 years with, and knowingly he was sexually assaulting people, and you probably willingly participated in these sexual assaults. You watched it. We know you're implicated in one of those lawsuits, so we know you was there and watched it. So what are you saying, J-Lo? And then we should take your word for it. We should listen to you about Kamala Harris. This is why I said Kamala Harris has a bunch of fake supporters, okay? Fake supporters. And I don't think this is going to move the needle. I did a poll on my channel. I don't know if you guys was able to see it, but I did ask the people, now that Kamala Harris has several celebrities endorsing her, do you think this would change the people's mind? And a majority of the people said, no, this is not going to change the mind of the people. It says, share your thoughts. Do you think Kamala Harris' latest endorsements of Cardi B, Glorilla, LeBron James, J-Lo, Beyonce will help Kamala Harris win the election? 81% said no. This was 263 people responded. And 12% said hope not. 5% says yes, they believe it will help her. And 3% said it doesn't help. So, I mean, this is what people are seeing or thinking. They don't think it's really going to move, or majority of people think it's not going to decide whether or not you vote for Kamala Harris. Okay. Another thing I want to share with you. Oh, this is what I wanted to get at. When I was telling you, CNN, you have Dan Jones on CNN. Okay. and he's saying that it doesn't make him happy about Pennsylvania. Jones specifically pointed out to poor Philadelphia turnout for Democrats and concerns over Jewish voters. What could have helped Kamala Harris with Jewish voters is probably picking Josh Shapiro. But she didn't. She didn't pick Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro does have, I don't know if he actually had the support of Somalians, but they end up endorsing Donald Trump over the weekend. Okay? Heavily populated Somalians in Minnesota. And they endorsed Donald Trump. Okay, so not only Kamala Harris is losing the Islamic support group, Somalians, because I don't know if you guys know, a majority of Somalians are Islam. And then she's losing the support of the Arabic group, because every time Donald Trump went to Michigan, he's been endorsed by some Arabic group. He was just endorsed by the leaders of Dearborn, Michigan, Arabic Dearborn, or the leaders in Dearborn, Michigan. And then prior to that, he went to Michigan and he was endorsed by the Arabic mayor in Hamtramck. Okay, we have a high population of Arabic, probably Palestinians, Iranians, in the Middle Eastern population in Detroit, even Metro Detroit. Okay, so of course now you lost the Islamic support, or these Islamic groups to Donald Trump, and now it's being sketchy. They're saying, I don't think they ever came out, Jewish supporters came out to endorse Donald Trump, but now they're saying they don't feel like the Jewish supporters are coming out for Kamala Harris. They're not showing up. And this is what he had to say. This is Van Jones.
Worried, Philadelphia is where we've got to run up a big margin. But Philly overall has been trending down, not in terms of going toward the Republicans, just people not getting out to vote. And so you got people out there like Pastor Carl Day, who's got a bunch of young men with him, knocking on doors, trying to get people to come out. It's a bigger, tougher fight in Philly to get that vote count up than it has been in the past. That has me worried. The other thing that has me worried is that the Jewish vote in the suburban areas, Biden won the Jewish vote by 70%, 70-30 last time. Some polls show Kamala at 50-50. That is 70,000 votes we've bled away. That is the margin for victory. So you got groups like Zioness, Amanda Berman out there fighting to get the Jewish vote back on board. This is a tough
Trump campaign doing ads
and
to
the
try
Trump
to
campaign pushing the other direction. So this is it is door to door, bruised knuckles, tired legs, a lot of coffee, and I'm nervous and worried, and I'm not going to be anyway until this thing gets called.
Okay, is there anything that is making you happy about Pennsylvania?
No, there's nothing making me happy about Pennsylvania. You got David Urban out there causing us trouble in the rural parts of the state. Get David Urban on this show and keep him here all day, and then I'll feel better.
Just don't let him leave.
I don't want him out there.
One thing about Van Jones, okay, before they started giving Donald Trump a hard time, you know, they gave Donald Trump a hard time during his 2016 election, but they really didn't take Donald Trump serious, okay? They put little inklings out there, oh, you know, Donald Trump is a racist, but not really slamming him as being a racist. They just was saying, oh, you know, he's a joke, basically. He has no chance in hell winning, okay? But when Donald Trump got in office, he made power moves, okay? That First Step Act, Donald Trump told a story while he was on Value Entertainment. He told a story that Van Jones came to him crying profusely, saying we need more bipartisan support on this bill, this First Step Act bill. The First Step Act is to release these nonviolent criminals that receive years behind bars because of Joe Biden's policies, okay? He came to him crying. And he said, can you help me, Mr. Trump? And what did Donald Trump do? He got on his phone and called the most conservative senators and say, hey, I need a favor. Can you support this bill? And he ended up getting the support. That's how the First Step Act passed, because of Donald Trump. Okay? And Donald Trump said, oh, he never thanked me for it. He just went back saying how awful of a person I was. And Patrick Bet-David had to correct him. He said, no, he did. He thanked you on national television. And they played the clip of Van Jones saying, I really appreciate Donald Trump. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, this First Step Act, this bill would have never passed. So he said Cory Booker, all the senators, and Donald Trump. Okay? So now all of a sudden, Donald Trump is an evil person. Then, I guess the very next day, he started talking shit about Donald Trump. After Donald Trump helped him pass this damn bill. This is how fake people are. If he was so prejudiced, why would he get on a phone to get these senators to let all these, and essentially 30,000 people out, and most of them were black individuals that were locked up because of Joe Biden's 94 crime bill. But Donald Trump is prejudiced? Doesn't make any sense. You guys, let me know, does that make any sense? If I was prejudiced, I would say, no, I'm not helping you. I'm not doing that. Let them niggas stay locked up. They did the crime. They got to do the time.
Same question to you. Is anything making you happy about Pennsylvania? Is everything making you nervous?
I just have to say, if only there's something that Kamala Harris could have done early in this campaign to help with the Jewish voters of Pennsylvania. Could it have been that the governor of Pennsylvania is a Jewish American who would have been, and a very popular one?
Just because if she's been Josh Shapiro doesn't mean every Jew is going to be voting for her.
I mean, it might have meant a whole bunch of Pennsylvanians voting for her.
It would have made a difference, though. It would have made a great difference if she would have had Josh Shapiro. And he was clearly the stronger candidate, but I believe Josh Shapiro said no. I think Tim Walz was the last ditch of effort. If she couldn't get a running mate, she probably wouldn't have been running, because nobody want to work with Kamala. That's another thing. They avoid that part. Nobody wants to work with Kamala, and they didn't do a real background check on Tim Walz, because you seen the videos I posted about Tim Walz. Allegedly. These are alleged. Some of his victims.
This could go down as the biggest.
Moving on.
I'm just saying. Anyway, I understand why you're nervous. Look, I think whoever wins Pennsylvania, I mean, obviously, 90+% chance are going to be the next president. And so these campaigns have pulled out all the stops there. The fact that Harris is going there a ton means I think they're nervous about it. And I look at some of this this early voting stuff, and it's like a witch's cauldron. You can lean over and smell the vapors, and you can kind of sort of see what you want to see in it. And Republicans have some reason to believe that maybe the Democrats aren't doing quite as well with their turnout operation. But the reality is nobody knows nothing. And so for old political operatives like Van and me, that does make you nervous because of the closeness of the polling and just the uncertainty around all the data. And I'll be as interested as anybody on election night. So I don't know whether I'm nervous or not, because at this point, I'm not sure there's, what else can you do? What else is there to say about it? Pennsylvania is the state.
But I'll tell you, the other thing that makes me nervous is in 2016, we had a big star-studded event right on the edge of the election, and we lost the state. I don't know if I don't think people understand. Working people sometimes have to choose. Am I going to go to the big, cool concert this week and pay for babysitting for that? Or am I going to try to figure out a way to get to the polls? I don't like these big star-studded events. Worried, Philip?
So, Van Jones, I mean, clearly he's nervous. But like, who put it in the chat? Van Jones is going to have a snot rag. He's getting a snot rag ready. Big Wave Dave said, I'm anxious to see the outcome of the election. I voted early. Yeah, I'm anxious. I'm anxious. Jamie is on X. She's saying praying for justice and freedom. Exactly. I'm anxious and nervous. I think it's going to be some stuff in the game. I think now Donald Trump, he is seasoned at this election game. He already has the people in place, the lawyers in place. So if he needs to challenge the election, he can. But I truly believe it's going to be too big to rig. Okay, too big to rig. Just one other final story about Pennsylvania. Then we're going to move on to Texas. Okay, so Tim Scott was with Dana Bash yesterday. Okay, Dana Bash, I don't know what's wrong with Dana Bash. You could tell her, we have a forecast of 97% chance of showers, and she will walk outside the house with just some t-shirts and shorts, and she won't bring an umbrella. And then it would start raining, and she would tell you, no, that's not true. It's not raining. Well, it's raining now. And Dana Bash will be like, no, it's not raining. That's just water from the trees. Like, no, there's no trees around, Dana. It's actually raining. So it seemed like she is so I need to push this messaging off that I'm just going to, force it when the evidence is clearly against what she's saying. Okay, this is what their interaction was.
That's your job on the eve of the election. But what I'm asking about is what if he doesn't win? And the fact of the matter is that Trump is already spreading false claims about cheating in Pennsylvania. He has repeatedly predicted a massive victory, even though polls show that the race is very close. He's setting the stage for his supporters not to believe the results if he loses. Do you want him to stop doing that?
I would never tell any candidate on the ballot to talk about what happens if they lose. Obviously, you're going to lean into the victory, especially
I
when the
appreciate that,
latest
Senator.
poll
Forgive
in
me,
battleground
but
states
spreading
says
false
that you're
rumors.
running forward. You're running ahead of your candidate.
Totally, but
Listen,
saying false
Dana,
things
you and I
about
disagree on this one.
fraud
Totally disagree on this
is not. You think it's okay to spread false rumors about fraud and undermine the integrity of the election, regardless of what happens?
Dana, the liberal media has done a better job of spreading misinformation
come on,
than
Senator.
any candidate I've seen so far. That's true. Listen, here's the fact. We're not seeing the coverage of 2 assassination attempts on CNN
We
against
did
Donald Trump.
wall-to-wall
We're not seeing the
coverage.
comments about Kamala Harris talking about fascists, calling Donald Trump a fascist.
John Kelly
We
called
should
him a
focus on
fascist.
giving
His
the
former
American
chief of
people
staff.
the opportunity, giving, and she repeated it, giving people the
Well, wouldn't
opportunity
you? If
to make their own
Kamala
decisions.
Harris's former
That's
chief
what
of
we
staff
Americans-
called her a fascist, I would guess that you would repeat it too. And
Listen.
Donald Trump has called him one as well.
The bottom line is this, Dana. Bottom line is this. We should focus on the issues that the American people are talking about. They're talking about the greatest invasion across our southern border. Black communities across this country, particularly in inner cities, are talking about the devastation of the presence of Venezuelan gangs leading to more crime. We're talking about a rise in the unemployment rate of African Americans. Of course, black men are now more open to the Republican Party and specifically Donald Trump because the numbers are in. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they've done a terrible job addressing the issues
Senator.
of black men. Therefore, looking at the Donald Trump years, we saw low unemployment and high enthusiasm.
I want to allow you to make your point, which I just did, but I can't let go of the fact
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you are saying it is the media spreading claims. It is not true. It is Donald Trump who is saying things
It is
that are
true.
Donald Trump is saying things just about Pennsylvania, just one example that local officials are saying is not true. We saw what happened on January 6th as
And then, they keep on pushing this January 6th narrative, okay? She's talking about that 2,500 ballots, but prior to the 2,500 ballots, or not ballots, but see, I'm calling it ballots, invalid registrations that they found. Was it Bucks County? Bucks County, Pennsylvania. They had early voting, and they were shutting down the polls at 1:30. Okay, Donald Trump sued and won. So what is she talking about? This like ruling just came. When was this? Just came October the 30th, last Wednesday. So you're saying Donald Trump is making false claims about voter suppression or voter invalid voting, and all these claims. You're saying that he's lying, but why did he have to go to court about it? Why did they sue? And why did the judge rule in his favor, Dana? I just don't understand. Why is she acting like when somebody's saying it's raining outside, it's not. It's clearly raining, Dana. That's water. That's rain that's coming down on your head, and you don't realize that. You're delusional. You're in la la land.
As a result of that and many other things, you were there at the Capitol. Are you saying right now, you want to leave this conversation and say you are okay with his rhetoric?
Well, Dana, what I'm going to tell you is the truth. The Supreme Court and local courts in Pennsylvania have ruled in favor of the Trump campaign this election cycle.
But this has nothing to do. That has
the
nothing
Supreme
to do
Court
with what he's
made
saying.
Changes prospectively. You're asking the question about voter integrity, election integrity.
Right.
I'm giving you the answer. We've seen a strong shift in the right direction, and that's reasons for us to be optimistic that this election will be fair. I'm of course going to say my candidate is going to win because the polls reinforce that fact, and the evidence I'm seeing on the ground only highlights or magnifies the fact that Donald Trump is doing very well in the battleground states. We are not just optimistic, we are going to be motivated, which will allow us to mobilize our voters. This election will be decided by the turnout.
I wish Dana and liberals stop being disingenuous. Donald Trump has every right to challenge the results of the election, okay? He has every right. If he feels like this election wasn't free and fair, and if he feels like, oh, I think they cheated on the election, he has every right to challenge the vote. Just like Democrats. If Democrats doesn't feel like the election was free and fair, they have every right to challenge the election results. What's the problem? Are you saying to concede? Yeah, he doesn't need to concede. If he doesn't feel like it's free and fair, and take it up in the courts. I would suggest if Democrats don't feel like the election was fair, they should take it up too. If Kamala Harris wants to challenge the election results, she should. If she doesn't feel like it was free and fair. So you can't just say it's one-sided because it's Donald Trump. Oh, the election our election is secure after Donald Trump campaign has to sue Pennsylvania to make it free and fair. Of course, you're going to be like, well, it wasn't free and fair here. In Georgia, we had these problems. In Arizona, they finding all these extra ballots. In Illinois, all these other places. So yeah, you're right now, everyone's thinking, okay, if they don't cheat, I don't think it's free and fair. So but that's that. I think it's just one-sided media when they talk like that. Anyway, now this is Texas. I just want to share with you. Now this is what they're saying. Came out November the 3rd. Okay. Last update at 1:30 p.m. It's 3 o'clock over here, Eastern Standard Time. 2024 elections, Texas election. That's 2 days away. So this must have came out yesterday. Yeah, November the 3rd was yesterday. They said early voting in Texas, 8.9 million ballots, mail-in and early in-person votes cast. Okay, these are the registered party. You had 13%. If this 13% voted for Kamala, it will go in Kamala's favor, but I highly doubt it. Or flip-flop. You could have had 37%, but not all 37% was registered and they voted other party, vice versa. Okay, and then they have 328,000 mail-in ballots requested. Okay, I'm not for sure if this number is out of this number, but you see the skew. Okay, they're saying 50% of registered voters are Republican. That's what they're saying. Okay, how in the hell? This was 19 hours ago. Updating average for each candidate in 2024. This is Texas. Is saying Trump has a 7-point lead. That's what they're saying. And some people in Texas, they're probably like, yeah, that's way closer than it should be. But you got to remember, Texans, you received a lot of Californians. Okay. There was a mass exodus over the last few years, even during the pandemic. A lot of Californians, whether they be conservative or not, they moved from California to Texas. Okay. Don't know the number, but we could say that might have swinged some things. Okay. That might have made a difference. Not for sure if it's a tipping point difference to say, oh, this is a blue or purple state now. But we don't know. Okay, I would like to see those numbers. I didn't get a chance to pull the numbers. How many people moved from California, or what's the population increase of a Texas between 2020 and now? Would it like to? Matter of fact, I could look it up right now. Year by year. Okay. They're saying it's increased 1.5% or 1.6% year after year. Okay. Now they got a growth rate of 1.4%. That's what this is saying. Okay. That's Californians. Then you have illegal immigrants. This is why I think this polling is a bunch of BS. This is somebody screenshot this, and they don't have a date on here. I don't know if maybe somebody. I'm not for sure. They're saying polls close at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, and it doesn't have a date on there. So I like to believe maybe this is somebody made this up, but we don't know. But it's saying it's CNN. Okay, they're saying that right now Kamala is 51.8% versus Donald Trump 45.7%. I'm just trying to see if somebody put oh, this is a digitally altered image. Okay. Anyway, I thought it was impossible for Texas to be that, in the blue. Anyway, especially favoring Kamala. That don't even make no sense because you have the border crisis right in Texas. Why would they be voting for Kamala Harris? They probably hate Kamala Harris right now. So anyway, so that's Texas. Somebody tried to make a fake image. Okay. So another thing I want to point out before I get done. I just want to go over some polling numbers. This is Real Clear Politics. Real Clear Politics is saying that Trump leads in Real Clear Politics. Averages for the first time. Numbers are exceptional, better than Hillary and Joe. Okay. For the first time in memory, President Donald Trump leads Democrat radical Kamala Harris in Real Clear Politics polling averages leading in election day. Trump wins if the polls are right. Okay. They're saying Trump advance will win some of the key battleground states. They didn't they're based off their prediction, they will not get the swing state of Michigan, Wisconsin, or Minnesota. Okay. Those will all remain blue. But they still will push towards victory of 287 electoral college votes. This is Real Clear Politics. Now, I'm not for sure. Let me just go off of polling numbers. This is Real Clear Politics over certain states. Okay, this is just a breakdown how much. So Trump has a national lead of 0.1, very slim margin. But they're saying in Wisconsin, Harris leads by 0.4. Michigan, Harris is 1.2. And the rest is Trump. These are battleground states. The rest are Trump, and they're saying these are averages. I'm not for sure what is the I guess correction based off the correction. Now this is 6 hours ago. Somebody predicted that Trump will win 312. Not for sure about that. Ramison report, they're saying that Trump this is old. This only goes up to August. Political polls. Let's see what they have. Political polls has Harris winning with 278. That was based off of October the 31st. Sure. They want Harris to win. This is I guess CNN is they actually takes these polls. Not for sure. But they have Harris winning. Um, 5 hours ago, they had, this was insider polling, they had Trump winning. That was 5 hours ago. That CNN poll has Harris winning by 278. A general election, they said it's going to be tied. Donald Trump is about 49%. But the general election, they're is saying that they will be tied. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I think Donald Trump has more momentum, and based off of registered voters and people turning out to vote, I believe Republicans are turning out to vote in droves. You even have people that's not identified by a party. They're just independent. They're turning out in droves. It's kind of hard for me to believe that people are not majority going to vote for Donald Trump. Even based off of, if you go, like, look at different social media influencers, like Benny Johnson, he's been out a lot. I watched Anton Daniels. He was out in Detroit, and it was probably 50-50 there. But, you know, and Benny Johnson, he went to the hood in Atlanta. Hopefully those people are registered to vote, or they just talking crap. But he went to Atlanta. He was in Pennsylvania. There were several people that I've watched. I don't know the influencer's name, but they were in Pennsylvania as well. And majority of those people that they talked to, they were saying that they were voting for Donald Trump. Now, the other guy I watched, he said a lot of people are not going to come out and say they're supporting Donald Trump because it's still like a stigma. Okay. So we could just say that this is going to be interesting. Okay. Lenny Malley has said, like me, I'm an independent and I'm voting for Trump. Yeah, I'm a registered Democrat, actually. A lot of people don't. I used to be a Democrat delegate. I was a delegate in my area, probably around 10 years ago. And I've been voting, I've been pretty voting independent because actually I will vote. Michigan is one of the states you don't have to be registered with the particular party to vote in the primaries and stuff like that. So you could just do whatever. But like I said, I'm a registered Democrat, and that's probably why, because I've been polled one time before. And that's probably why they were able to poll me. But they're saying that one of the things that they have a problem with is polling Trump supporters or Republicans, period. Then another thing I saw, this was I think is going to shock everybody. This is why I think it's going to be a red wave, because young men, and these are college age men, young men are coming out to support Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Devory Darkins. He makes some great videos. I don't know if it's this one. You know what? I think it was the other one. Devory, I think his name is Devory Darkins. He makes some great videos. I mean, and most of his videos get a lot of views. Let me see if I can find it. No, this is not the one. I don't think so. This is not the one. He had a interview with that was just dropped. Oh, this is it. This is it. This young, I call him a kid because he's young enough to be my son, but he's, I guess he goes to the University of Iowa, or no, University of Ohio. And he's from Ohio, and I think he goes to Michigan State or whatever. But anyway, he's been involved with the election. Okay, this is what he had to say.
Michigan State students helping turn out the vote.
Michigan State students.
I think there's a red wave coming, especially in Michigan, and I think people will be very surprised on how many people vote Republican this election.
Brennan is 21, a junior economics major from Ohio, but he registered in Michigan for his first vote for president.
I was a sixth grader when Trump got elected in 2016, and I watched him, come to the White House. I watched the inauguration. I watched all the great things he did.
Trump struggled with young voters in 2016 and 2020. Brennan predicts better numbers this time, especially among young men.
Thank you, guys.
And especially after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ended his campaign and backed Trump.
I've heard a lot of young guys say how important RFK was to their President Trump vote. Ever since Trump kind of brought RFK onto the team, onto the campaign, a lot of young men voters really like that and kind of resonate with RFK and what he's done.
Now, one of the biggest narratives.
Okay, so that tells me a lot. And even though it's just Michigan, it tells me a lot that I believe younger people are starting to be excited about this election. Because you got to realize, okay, if he's 21, he was in college during the pandemic when we were having all this crazy stuff. And younger people are not stupid, just like Kamala Harris. She claims that, young people under 25, they're really stupid. No, these kids are smart. They're far more smarter than what we were. Okay. And I believe they are starting to realize, they don't appreciate the way that the world is going. And they know, hey, if we don't vote, if we don't start speaking out, we're going to have all these old heads telling us what the world should be. And we're literally our future, right? And I'm just speaking on the people that or the younger generation that is actually in college. Now, you do have, I think most people that go to college, I do think they get brainwashed because 90% of those professors, they're real liberal. So they get kind of brainwashed. But then if you have a good background and a good group of people around you, they probably still stay within their values, their home traditions. Now, but like I said, Michigan in some parts is really red. Okay. Michigan State, I don't think so. I don't think Michigan State is a red city or in that area. I think it's mostly blue. Okay. But he's from Ohio. So they're getting young men, and young men are starting to resonate with Donald Trump. Reason why they're starting to resonate with Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump went on several podcasts, flagrant clips, or with the funny guy, the flagrant podcast. Okay, he went on there. He was on Aiden Ross. Younger people watched him. Joe Rogan, men. Now, if men show out to vote, and they're predominantly voting for Donald Trump is going to win. And I think that's what's going to tip. It's going to be a landslide. If black men, the black men that say that they're supporting Donald Trump and the white men that they're saying they're supporting Donald Trump, and they actually show up to the polls, Donald Trump will win by a landslide. Of hands down. And of course, you will have your liberal media, liberal feminist people really upset about this. Now, I'm just going to show you one clip from Benny Johnson because he was out, I believe, yesterday or the day before. On Saturday, he was in Tampa, Florida, and he was out there canvassing where they go out in bars and bar hop, and it's one of the what do you call it, college, around a college town. Let me see if I could. Was this live? Is this a live video? Okay, this is it.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Trump or Kamala? Hey, you want to say something to Kamala?
I mean, like, fuck this bitch, dude. She's just casting couch all the way to the top.
I fucking love this man. He's my mother. He's the GOAT.
Greatest of all time.
MAGA!
Oh, hi, guys. See her standing there. What do you say to her?
Get the fuck out of my face.
Tell her.
She's fake as shit. I just feel like he keeps it real, and I just fuck with him. He keeps it real.
What's your message to Kamala? She's standing right there.
Go fuck yourself.
Okay. Trump or Kamala? Who we got?
We got Trump all the way. Kamala.
Yes. What's your message?
Trump 2024. Frankly, they say, Donald, how do you do it? How do you win? You keep winning, quite frankly.
What's your message to Kamala?
You are such a skank. Oh my gosh.
She's a commie, that's all she is. This is my fucking boy right here.
Three-time assassination survivor puts him way ahead of the competition.
How many bullets has she missed?
Yo, she was in office for 4 years.
Not one.
He's way ahead of the game. Fuck Kamala, 2 fingers up Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
What are you talking about? This guy right here.
Yeah. Tell us why.
Because I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. What you have to say to her face?
She's an idiot.
Yeah.
Trump, baby! Trump all day!
What's your message?
And you know, that's just a synopsis. If you guys want to view the whole video, you can go over to Benny Johnson's channel. But this is the sentiment and the atmosphere that people are hearing. I believe Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide. I don't know how Kamala Harris could survive this. This election is going to be called, my phone is ringing, I don't even know where it's at. This election should be called afterwards, after they do a study, Surviving Kamala Harris. What not to do. What the Democrat or what any party shouldn't ever do. Number one, choose the candidate for the people, because people are not excited by a person that you chose. Oh, it's the only one. And they thought people hated Donald Trump so much that they were going to have a repeat of the election of 2020 election. And that's not so, because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they have done a horrible job in managing the country. Our border is crappy. Our national security is crappy. Our economy is crappy. Okay? Our world security is crappy. You know, so, and those few things that I named out, those are really important to people. People don't want to feel nervous like, oh, we're going to enter into another war. People don't like that. People don't like feeling edgy. America should be safe and secure. You should be able to go to bed at night and know that, okay, Russia, China, even those they're our enemies, we shouldn't be nervous about, okay, we might get invaded or we might go to war because of Kamala Harris and her advisor. She has Liz Cheney as an advisor, of all people. The warmonger and the loser on top of that. So, you know, I shouldn't have to worry about whether or not my husband will have a job because they're shipping all the jobs overseas. I shouldn't have to worry about sending my kids to school and they might not learn anything. That's the things that we're facing now. I shouldn't have to worry about going to the grocery store and putting stuff out of the basket because quite frankly, I don't have enough money to purchase all the things that we need for the household. That's what people are worried about. So they're acting as if these are not real worries of the American people. And they want us to believe, oh, it's not so bad. Donald Trump is worse. No, Donald Trump is actually, he is a doer. He's actually going to do things to fix the economy. What are you planning to do? Besides talk shit and lie. Because literally you lying. You're lying. You do want to take away our Second Amendment rights. You're just saying that you're not going to do it because you know it's too radical for people to digest. Okay. All Kamala Harris radical points that she was running on 2019, she couldn't run on that. So she had to run on a more moderate talking points to get in this stage of the game. That's why she had to flip flop. But you should believe who she is. She said her values have not changed. Okay. So if you believe that American citizens shouldn't have access to gun ownership, that's pretty much a value. Okay. You believe that immigrants, illegal immigrants, and prisoners should have access to change their sex, and basically the public should pay for these sex changes. That's a value. That's an attribute. You believe women should have access to abortion no matter the stage of their pregnancy. That's a value, you guys. If you believe that Jesus is Lord and you say, hey, if somebody scream out Jesus is Lord, hey, you in the wrong rally. That's a value. A value that Jesus is not included in that particular value. You don't believe in Jesus. This is all an act, you guys. Now, finally, I'm not going to talk anymore about Kamala, but I did posted those videos. I did break down those videos that Candace Owens did some research on Kamala Harris. If you get a chance to go view those videos, let me just pull it up for you so you could see it. The last two videos. One is called Shocking Candace Owens Reveals Man Helped Kamala Mysteriously Died. And this other video I posted yesterday morning, Disturbing, Is Kamala Harris part of the CIA classified program? And it's, the thumbnail is Manchurian Candidate. That video is about 40 minutes long. I think I'm going to go back through and time step it. So if you don't want to view certain parts of the video, you don't have to. But it's basically explaining how Kamala Harris' mother is tied or was tied to the CIA. She did research for the CIA, the MK Ultra program. This MK Ultra program, they claimed that it was dissolved in 1976, but it was not, okay? It was not. This was just a cover story. Okay. Kamala Harris' mother went to Canada to this general hospital, and they performed MK Ultra experiments on young people. Okay. That's what the interviewer revealed. Okay. And this is something as a researcher, they didn't know, really her research, but it was revealed that this guy, he's a journalist, and he knew she was part of the CIA. Now, and the other video is basically explaining Kamala Harris' early career before she got her law degree. Kamala Harris, she was about to flunk out of law school, and this guy named Jeff Adachi was her tutor. And later on in their career, he ended up being a prosecutor, a defender. And he defended a lot of those guys that Kamala Harris, low-level drug dealers that Kamala Harris locked up. And the reporter revealed that he believed that Kamala Harris was an agent for the drug cartel. And it's not like the Mexican drug cartel. He said the drug cartel that ran San Francisco was the Jewish drug cartel. And he claimed that Willie Brown had involvement with this drug cartel. Okay, this is how he funded his campaign and how he ended up going into a Senate seat in California. Okay, so gave several stories about Kamala Harris being entangled in this drug cartel agent thing, and how Jeff Adachi actually knew of this information, and they believe this is the reason why he died mysteriously. Okay, so more information on that, just view that video. And you guys, I really appreciate every single last one of you. Now, tomorrow, I'm not going to go. I might, if I do go online, it's going to be real quick. But tomorrow, I will be streaming at night. I'm going to have, I do have one guest that's coming on. It's another YouTuber from Detroit. I'm still working on some other YouTubers to come in and visit. Maybe we'll do a watch party later on in the evening to look at the numbers to see if the polling numbers are coming out, some of the results. So you guys, just look out for the announcement for that. So I will put that out early in the morning tomorrow of about what time I will be online. Okay. So I really appreciate every single last one of you for tuning in. You guys, thank you for tuning in. And I'm sending all my good to you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.